Hi, welcome to Soundings with Sash. And you see, I have a co-host with me this evening. So welcome, Mark. How are you?
Thank you so much. I am just absolutely honored to be here on your show. Thank you so much for the invite. Although I think I kind of invited myself. It kind of felt like I made like a declaration. It is great to be here. And I love your intro, by the way. Really nice.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. And I see that we have a fellow Academy person that's joined us. And hello, Tom.
Good guy. Really good guy. Good people. No
Thank you for joining us.
What's up, Tom?
Yeah, what's up, Tom? So I have to publicly admit that I made a boo-boo this evening and double booked. So I was going to have another co-host on. Hopefully he'll join us. But if he's not on today, am I echoing? I wondered.
I don't hear you echoing.
I've been having that issue. Mark, in your feed, can you turn it down, or do you hear anything?
I don't hear anything at all.
Okay.
How about now? Are you good?
I can still hear the echoing. Yes. So not sure.
Everything's coming through my headphones.
Okay.
Let's see here. Hold on. Let me try one thing.
I've been having sound issues today on Facebook. So, okay. Just finished your Elevate Your Profits with Mark Gasser. Yes, I was watching that. It was very informative. Your shows are always very informative. So thank you. So am I still echoing?
I don't hear an echo at all.
Don't hear an echo. Okay.
But Tom Ginn said that you're echoing.
I know. So maybe I'll do less talking.
No words.
So anyway, tonight I want to let's find out about you.
Sure.
So maybe the echo will be less once we find. So
now, you muted there for a moment.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what about in the world of Mark?
Sure, absolutely. So I am a father of twin daughters. They're now 29. They'll be 30 this year. And I would love to say that it has been a straight trajectory, raising them. Hasn't, they didn't come with an owner's manual. And when you raise twins, if you try to raise them both the same, you can mess up with one. And so it's been constant tweaking and learning and growing and realizing that it's just the growth is consistent, right? Parenting, you're learning as much as your kids do. So, but love being a dad, love my daughters. So I'm a trainer in the automotive industry.
Okay.
And what does that mean? So a lot of people, unfortunately, they find themselves, I'm hearing the echo now.
There. Hopefully I turned it off.
Okay. So we go, so a lot of people out there who get into automotive, the number one reason they get in is to make money. And sadly, within the first year, a lot of people leave. Why? Because they're not making the money they thought they would.
Right.
And that's really attributed to lack of training. The cost of entry is zero. I shouldn't really say that. The cost of entry is time. And unless you put a value on your time will only have the value that you assign to that. What do I mean by that? Mm-hmm. So in an 8-hour day, if you treat your time like you should get paid $250 to $500 per hour, chances are you would really take a close look at how you're investing that time and the value that you're bringing to that time. Unfortunately, a lot of car dealerships don't do a great job of showing people who get into the business and how to treat this sales business like it's their own. So it might have a Toyota name on the shingle up on top, but really it's got, salesperson A Toyota Incorporated. Unless you treat your business like a business, you treat it casually. What's that old cliche? If you treat your business casually, you become a casualty.
Casualty.
I'm faced with people who are either looking to become salespeople or service advisors or receptionists or all the different departments. Nice. Damaris says,
Still echoing. So sorry.
It's weird. I'm so sorry, guys. And
yeah,
let me try one thing.
I can hear myself out of your speakers. Yes, there you go.
You do. Yes. Hold on. Let me see something. Hold on.
Yes.
How about now?
Let's test it.
Is it better now?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll go.
Yes. Yes.
So now when we look at the motivations for why someone would even get into sales, right? Mm-hmm. Especially sales. If you really, really think about it, buying a car is right up there with going to the dentist. And why is that? Because you got this sinking feeling, like you never quite know if you paid a good price for the car. And even when you do think you got a great price, there's always that question that remains. Did I serve myself well with this purchase? And so a lot of it has to do with the experience that was created in the showroom and on the phone. So what I do as a trainer is I help people in all different departments to deliver a great customer experience on the phone and face to face. A lot of people come in thinking their eyes are saying, I should be driving this, but their credit and their wallet say, maybe, this time around, we should go with something a little bit smaller or something a little less expensive so they don't put themselves in a bad spot. But I love what I do. I've been doing it since 2000. Actually, I was a car salesman first from in the early 90s all the way through to 2000. I was a manager. Oh. And then I got into the world of training. It wasn't a serendipitous event. I did get let go from a dealership. Oh. And I was faced with being a father of twins, and I couldn't go to a 9-to-5 job because a 9-to-5 wouldn't give me the ability to get a raise if I wanted one. Right. The automotive industry is the one business where if you want a raise, you can just by selling another car, right? And your raise becomes effective the moment you do, which means that I had to learn, the different customer, all these different skills, follow up and follow through. And really looking back, anyone who gets into automotive, I tell them, the very first thing I tell them is, hey, Sandy, if you really want to be successful in automotive sales, you really have to make a friend first and then sell the car. Make a friend and then sell the car. Build a relationship.
Right.
And then help this person get what they're trying to gain access to.
Wow.
And not just the car, because that car could be, it's maybe it's prestige. That person who's looking for that beautiful Mercedes-Benz or that gorgeous Lexus, or maybe it's just somebody just needs transportation.
A to B. Find out and ask the questions, right? And the seeking questions. My son actually just started working for a dealership, and it's his first one. He's working for a BMW dealership to start. I was like, well, that's not too shabby. So anyway. Oh, hey, Lynn. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Thank you guys for joining.
Absolutely.
I noticed that the echoing has stopped. Yes.
We have a very supportive team in the Grow Lab.
Yes. Awesome. And having Mark on is wonderful. So, and look, I've got my cup, guys. So mugs up, everyone. Whatever you're drinking. Are you drinking anything, Mark?
Big shout out. I'm drinking coffee and regular coffee.
I'm drinking coffee too.
Big shout out to Ken Walls, because it's through Ken Walls that with all of us are able to get to know each other.
Yes.
So that Grow Live Academy has become more of a family than an actual live actually, it's live training first, but it's grown into something more of a community.
Yes, and I actually am part of 2 of those live kind of things. I'm live streaming pros as well. So I have some of my friends on here from live streaming pros as well. So yeah, I know. Isn't that a great mug? I love it. So Lynn, I love your show, by the way. Also, all of you guys on here, I love your shows. Of course I do. So I'll be just as supportive to you guys as you are to me. And having Mark on, and we're talking about positivity training, because my other guest host that was going to be on, it was my fault. I double booked him. And so he was going to do positive training as well, but we'll do positive training again. There's nothing wrong with having another positive training on a Monday, right? So Monday. So what'd you do today on a Monday, Mark? Like, how was your Monday?
So I always begin with the end in mind, right? So my day began over the weekend, which it entailed visualizing what I wanted today to look like. So I had a few appointments, a few interviews, definitely had some phone calls to make. But I always start out the day before, the night before, being sold on me first. Who do I have to become to either close that deal, make a great impact? Whether it's reaching out to my kids, reaching out to family, who do I need to be? Because how would I put this? It's so easy to get caught up in the negativity out there, right? If you turn on the TV, every channel is just
TV. I don't watch it much. No,
it's just negativity.
Right.
So, what are you feeding your brain? What are you feeding your mind? Right? What are you feeding your spirit? So the night before, I make it a practice of never going to bed without really planning what I want tomorrow to look like. And, I always try to leave people better than the way I find them.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Amen. Yes, absolutely.
Word. And it's always being interested in someone else before I'm looking for the interest in me. And so questions become really, really important. Yes. High value questions. So today was a great day. Number one, I'm alive. Number one, if you can look up, you can get up, as Les Brown says.
Yes.
And I realize that if it is to be, it's got to start with me. It has to. It has
right.
to. The one thing, Andy, that's in my control.
Yes.
Right. The world could be falling apart around me, but it's within my control to really control how I react to the things that are coming at me. And so it's just asking a better question. Who can I support today? Who can I bring value to? Right? Who needs encouragement? And so I'm constantly keeping in touch with people that I've trained or worked with, and just sending encouraging words. Could be a text message, could be an email, could be a phone call. Or that lost art of sending a letter, right?
Yes, that's important.
I make a habit of connecting and really connecting on a daily basis. That's planned.
Yeah, my last guest I had on, she is part of the Send Out Cards, and that's what her whole mission is to brighten people's day with sending them a card. And like you said, the written card is very important, and we've lost the art of that sometimes. So, I mean, Send Out Cards is
what's old is now what's new.
That's right. I mean, it's a great way to tell somebody that you care and that you're thinking of them. So, that's the thing, is sharing this positivity. People get in a rut. They look at their circumstance, they look at their situations, and they say, instead of saying, okay, what can I do about it? Action. They need to take action on it versus just sitting and wallowing it. Right. And it's easy to say that. I've been there. I've wallowed in it like anybody else, but you really just have to, it just is one thought, one change, one little shift that you have to change your whole countenance, because it's up to you. Nobody else can do that. It's all internal. It's all the forces outside of you cannot make you change that on the inside. So it's really, like you're saying, preparing for the next day, putting those things in place so that you have a more, flowing kind of day. Yes.
My dear friend Tom Ginn sent me this.
Oh, nice.
Start your day with a grateful heart.
Start
And
your day with a grateful heart.
he's
Gratitude
part
is
of a
about
company
it.
called
Yes.
Mailbox Pro, which is kind of like send out cards, but it doesn't have the MLM aspect to it. But journaling,
Nice.
right? Just writing down what you're grateful for.
Right. And
Gratitude.
or, like my practice, I pray about it. So I pray and I say, okay, God, thank you, for this day. Thank you for that. Yesterday I put out a thing, what are you thankful for? And there was just so many different, and I love that people want to share that. I think that is amazing. I put out two things yesterday. What are you thankful for? And love is equals, love equals what? And so people want to share that, and I think that is amazing. If you put out into the universe, they have to think about it. Just one little simple question. When you get on this phone, sometimes you just scroll, right? Like you're just like scroll. If you're a Facebook person, you're just scrolling, looking at all of these things, and we have that short attention span now. So much so it's kind of sad, like reading books is now like, okay, you have to sit down and actually read a book instead of reading, if it's more than 3 sentences, people lose interest. And it's a shame that we're getting to that place. And so I think, trying to share that positivity in 3 sentences or less, so how can you do that? Me just asking one question, people want to share, they want to share their lives. People on your friends list, why are they on your friends list? What are they there for? Some people use Facebook for business reasons, right? And that connection. And then other people, it's totally for their friends and family. It just depends on what they're trying to do. And I think it's so important, that we don't just focus on one thing. I bombard my friends, and I know it. I bombard my friends with all these different things. And then I finally go, whoa, Sandy, what did you get a connection for? Because you want connection, not because you want business. Like really, when you get down to it, it's to have connection. And people, like you were saying, even in sales, with that, if they think you're looking out for them, because my dad goes to a car dealership, the same one for the last 30 years. And he goes to the same car salesman. Why does he do that? Because that guy has a connection. And when we go in there, that guy hugs him and gives him a kiss on the cheek. Okay. So he's his family, he's his friend. And so that guy has really got that down, that he made that connection with him way long ago. And my dad's a repeat customer, because of that. And he does make him feel like, he's going to do anything for him, and he does do anything for him, and that's integrity, having that value system, since you're in car sales, when you know a shiesty car salesman. Like I've met them. I know like within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, here we go. And I have to be really stern and go, I want this car that looks like this in this price range. And then I have to reiterate that. And then if I'm not happy, usually those are the ones I go, you know what? I'm not going to make my decision today. I will come back. And do I come back? No. I do not, because I already know.
And they'll say, "Oh, she's just not ready yet. She'll be back." There's a saying in the car business that the be back bus never comes back. But Sandy, you're 100% right. People love to buy things. They hate to be hard pressured sold. You know what I mean? They hate the hard sale, the pressure. Oh, yeah. Sale. They really hate it.
Yeah.
And so it's really basic. I mean, treat people the way you really believe they want to be treated, right? The way you'd want to be treated.
That's right.
But those are, it's common sense. And unfortunately today, common sense is uncommon. And you mentioned, you talked about reading. A while back, a dear friend of mine had, he told me about this gentleman named Hal Elrod and The Miracle Morning. And so I read that book.
Yes.
And, he has an acronym called SAVERS, where the S stands for, you wake up every day in silence. So you take about 10 minutes, whether it's prayer or meditation, but just 10 minutes to start your day with reflective silence. The
Right.
A stands for affirmations. And so, I have an app. It's called Think Up. I read affirmations into it, and I have it play it back for me for 10 minutes. And it's amazing what affirmations will do for you, the mindset that you can put yourself into to start your day.
So it's an app, you said?
Yeah, it's called Think Up. In fact,
Think Up. Okay.
and
Think
then
Up. Okay.
the V in Savor stands for visualization. And so I have this vision board where it's actually my desktop, and I'll spend 10 minutes looking at it and just really, really reflecting on it. And so I want to be a speaker who's impacting thousands of lives. I have a vision of the home I want to live in. I have a vision of the relationship I'd like to attract. I have, it's all out there. And so I'm intentional about what it is that I want the rest of my life to look like.
Yeah.
Right. And so I focus in on that. The E stands for exercise. And so since the pandemic, I've definitely put on some weight. And so I'm working with an online coach who has
And
really
we all
helped.
have, by the way. We all have.
Well, let me tell you, I'm 55. I know I think you're just pushing 30, right? You're just hitting
That's
about 30.
right. You
That's
are
right.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Brownie points for you.
And so with exercise, when you've had knee operations, you've got to modify some things. And so you really have to work. If you're working with a trainer, you really need to, if you have some issues with joints, what have you, you've got to make those issues known. So
Yes, because they love squats and lunges. They love them.
But let me tell you something, I had no idea the level of work that I'm getting with these, not tubes, but these bands, these thicker.
Oh yeah, the bands.
Like belts. They almost look like.
Right.
Amazing.
Yes.
And then the R in Savers stands for reading. So I'm currently reading T. Harv Eker's The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And it's a great book. So I always want to feed my mind positive stuff, always. Yes. I think that's why I just naturally connect with you, because you've got a very positive vibe about you. In fact, good
I'm
vibe.
reading 10X Rule.
There you go, Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
And then the S in Savers stands for scribe, which is to journal, to write.
Yes.
And so last September, I lost my dad. He was suffering with dementia and poor health, and it was a blessing and a curse to be there to see him take his last breath. And it was just a tough year.
I'm so sorry.
Mom busted her hip. That was a whole ordeal. But with journaling, I'm able to. In fact, I have a journal that I'm dedicated to him. And so in my daily entries, it's like an ongoing conversation with my father. And so while I want the rest of my life to be the best of my life, I look back on the lessons I've learned, because I believe our lives are either going to be a warning sign to others on how to live, how not to do what you're doing, or an example of how to live your life, right?
Yeah.
And so at the age of 55, I truly do want the rest of my life to be the best of my life. And I want to live a life of service. So helping others. Listen, I've had people say to me, Mark, how much can I pay you? I'm like, I don't want your money. You want to pay me? Just pay it forward. Help someone else out. And I say that because for me to achieve the level of success that I have achieved, I didn't do it alone. And I was able to someone helped me. A bunch of people helped me. And so I just want to pay it forward.
Yes.
Every chance I get, pay it forward.
Exactly.
And that's what it's about, right? I mean, in the end, when when we die, it's funny because when my father passed away, and I visit his gravesite, and you hear these sayings, you hear these words from different speakers, how the cemetery is the wealthiest piece of real estate in the world, right? Because there are buried all of the dreams and books that were never written, all of the unfulfilled, just treasures that will never come to fruition.
Right.
They went with these folks. And you look at the tombstones and you realize that dash, it's got to account for more than just, the number of
Yes.
years we've lived. It's got to be,
Yes.
it's
That dash is the most important part of your whole life.
the moments that you've created, right? So
That's right.
at this stage of my life, I'm hoping love doesn't escape me. I'm very hopeful that I do end up with someone who is, who I can cherish and adore and love and just explore. And so I was telling you the other day, I was in Barnes and Noble, and something I never do ever. I mean, if typically I'll go to the personal development or those books, or sales book, that area. But I looked over at the travel section, and it was great just to escape, for about 20 minutes, just to escape. Wow, you know what? Because I haven't been outside the United States. I've been on cruises, but
Wow.
it was never the right time. Whether the kids were still going to school or my life was complicated with it, and so
Life gets busy.
yeah, it does. It does.
And that's something you have to plan for. Yeah.
100%. So that's on my bucket. That's on my vision board as well. Traveling.
That's right. That's what I was going to ask you. Do you have a vision board? And I like what Tom has to say. Writing is the most powerful way to create the vision and the outcome. It expands your genius. That's correct. I'm definitely a writer. Like, see, I even have like the little notes like sitting next to me, and I've always got my pen. And it's because if I write it down and I see it, it cements it for me. That's a cementing in my head and photographic memory of it. And it helps me to remember. And that's why I feel bad. I double book somebody because typing, texting, I'm the worst texter. I am the worst. Like, I can't stand it. Like, I would rather get on the phone and talk to someone because, or I would rather write. The texting and all of that just escapes me. I'm not great about it. So like the Kindle book versions, don't like those either. I like a real book that I can open up.
You're a hands-on woman. There you go.
I have to read it. Yes, I have to touch it, read it, all of those things, because it just helps me. And that's just is the way I'm as a learner. Obviously, I'm, as textile. So I need to, see, I like all of it, hearing it, seeing it, writing it, and I'm good. I was horrible as a student taking notes and everything because I could remember what the teacher was saying and what they wrote on the board. I could remember exactly what they wrote on the board, but I hated writing my own notes. So
I think our mutual friend Glenn Morshar would say,
come on with it.
Is that what he would say?
I think that's what he would say.
That's what he would say. Yes. UCLA study shows that, vision board accomplished 80% of everything on the board.
I believe
it's like a checkoff list. And as a vision board, depending how you do it, I love it. When I see it, and what's interesting is I might have not accomplished it last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
COVID kind of made my vision board kind of, I should have put toilet paper on there, but anyway.
Hey, by the way, I love what Lisa wrote. There's a metaphorical truth to turning pages.
It is. It makes you feel accomplished.
But since you mentioned the pandemic, and look what came out of the pandemic, right?
A lot.
The need for connection was so great that these guys who created Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell the truth here, right? The first couple of weeks, I was on that way, way longer than I care to admit.
Yeah.
And it was really interfering with just my sleep. Sleep. You
Yeah.
realize how important sleep is.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I had to back off. I had to back off. I'll poke in. Now I'm very selective about where I'll go, where I'll spend my time, and I'll give myself an hour, and that's it. I got the hourglass going, and that's it. I'm done, and I'm out. Because you can get lost.
Yeah, I have tried. I've been trying to be on it, and I get up there, and Lynn, who was on earlier, she's so sweet. And when I go into a room, sometimes she'll bring me up, on the stage, and I'm getting ready to say something, and sometimes I have to go do something. One time I waited, I think, 3 hours to say something on one of the things, and it was kind of a lesson in patience. I was like, oh, this is a lesson in patience, and I really had to check myself, to make sure that I had the right mindset. And I think that's what it is going in there with the right mindset. Because if all you're worried about doing is speaking instead of listening, then you're missing the point. So
then that says something. That speaks volumes about about who you are and what you are and what your priorities are. But I will say I've met some amazing people. Jay Nolan and his wife Nina, and just a bunch of. And I got closer to Joe Ingram, who I love Joe Ingram. Just he really is a genius. He really is. I love that guy. Amazing.
Yeah, he's another car guy. I was going to ask you.
No, he's at another level. He's got NLP going in there. He's really got it. He's got it really figured out.
I've tried to get my son. I'm telling my son, hey, you need to follow this guy and this guy and this guy. And his generation, he hears me and he goes, yeah, I think I've heard those names or whatever. And I'm like, I'm serious. You need to check out their materials.
Sandy, I will tell you, people in that who are in that 21 to 24 age bracket.
He's a little older. He's 30.
He's 30?
Yes.
I'm 55. So even here's what I'm seeing, with the younger people out there.
Yes.
Patience is a virtue that unfortunately they don't have, and they want things to happen very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And so what I counsel and coach newer salespeople to do is to utilize technology that they have, they're comfortable with. So a lot of these younger people are very comfortable with Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook, and have you.
They're on their PlayStation a lot. Like they're on their whatever they're doing.
I mean, gaming and the whole nine.
Yes.
But car sales, just selling automobiles, whatever you're selling. People, I would say this, years ago, when I started out, the internet was just starting. I remember having to wait forever for, it was a 14.4 modem. I could still hear the sound of the modem screeching with AOL.
Yes.
And
oh yeah.
if kids had to wait for that today, they'd lose their minds.
They would lose. And remember when they would do an update, and then it would take longer even, and the connection was even longer because you had to update
worldwide.
Yes.
Wait. That's what it was.
You have mail. You've got mail.
The only reason why I bring that up is because I could take somebody who's been in the automotive business for 20 years, who is selling, 20 or 30 cars, maybe 25 cars a month. Let's just say 20 cars a month. If that 20 car or even 25 car a month guy is still waiting for customers to come into the showroom, it would not take much for a newer salesperson to come on board. And all he or she has to do is, every time he sells a car, he makes it a priority, number one, of delivering a great experience. I mean, bends over backwards to really assist his client. I didn't say customer, I said client. A customer can buy milk at a supermarket, right? But
Right.
a client is someone who you protect and serve, right? When you
Right.
treat your customer like a client and you serve them and you always put yourself in a position of service, meaning,
Yeah.
hey, Sandy, listen, I'm so happy for you. You've taken delivery of your brand new BMW. When you're ready for call me. I'll schedule your service appointments. Whatever
Right.
you call me. When you become that guy, the car guy,
Yeah.
what will happen is the Sandy Archers of the world, who when even someone asks them, or she will even hear someone needs a car, you have to see this guy over at this dealership.
Right.
He's amazing. But the newer people today, if they just spent time building their online presence in the form of reviews. Hey, Sandy, I really appreciate the confidence you placed in me. Nowadays, people are, when they're going to buy a car, they're looking at dealership reviews. I just started. Would you leave me would you leave me a review about your experience on Facebook, on Yelp, and make it easy for the customer to leave your review. That same guy who's been in that store for a long time, he won't know what hit him. Because when I go into a store, Sandy, I look at who's the top guy. I look at Google, the various reviews. And if I see the guy who's been there for years, but he's got very few reviews, anyone can kind of jump in and take that spot.
Right.
And very, very quickly. It doesn't take much, you know?
Well, I'm biased. It's my son's, but he's been in retail for a long time and he's really good. And he does develop those relationships. He just worked for a jewelry store. And then for he was a manager. So he's that guy. He is that guy. He's the guy that says, hey, you need that in blue. I'm going to get that for you in 2 days. Like you're going to have that.
If your son was good at selling jewelry, he's the guy that would say, Sandy, you have to try on this. You have to try on this necklace. You have to try on this bracelet. Look at how it sparkles. Look, it's so beautiful. The way it matches your clothes. Look at how it just accentuates your eyes. And look, he's that guy.
He's that guy.
He's gonna do very.
He's that guy. He's that guy. He definitely is. I was like, man, you could sell anything to anybody. And he used to do it to me when he was a teenager. He'd wake up and he'd go, Mom, I'm not feeling good. So he wouldn't have to go to school. And then he'd do the sell job. Like he'd feel better later and probably snuck out of the house. Who knows what he did? Anyway, because I was at work. But he definitely was that guy that by the time I got home and I'd be mad at him because I'd be like, well, you seem fine now. And he'd be like, well, Mom, I do. I feel so much better. I hope you had a great day. He's a schmoozer. He knew how to schmooze me way back when. So he's but he means it. Like he's genuine. Like I'm not saying he is. So, hey, Bobby, thanks for joining us. Yes, a client and fur is a personal relationship. Yeah, your interpersonal skills are important. Now, Bobby's
on the money.
The guy that you get your wine from.
Oh, really?
Sommelier. Yes.
Really? Little Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes, he knows. He knows what's going on in that world.
Champagne as well?
Yeah. Let's do some champagne.
So, Bobby, here you go. Here's a glass of champagne. We're gonna clink glasses to you, Bobby.
Okay.
There we go. It's the Bobby Jones.
There we go, Bobby. Did you hear that? Cheers to you, Bobby.
There we go. Nice.
So yeah, Bobby will steer you right on the wine. So,
Sandy, what is your story?
What's my story?
Right, your story.
Which one?
Any story you feel comfortable sharing.
Well, I'm a person of change.
Okay.
I like change. I embrace change. I used to be a military wife, I'm an ex-military wife.
Right.
Traveled around the country with the Navy. Mm-hmm. And I actually was in Chicago because the Navy recruits are trained up there. Their boot camp is in Great Lakes. So I lived in Chicago. I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. I actually was a salesperson as well. I did Alamo Rent a Car, so I was kind of a sales person myself. I've had many, many jobs, all customer service related. I learned how to be a good customer service person in fast food. Started at Hardee's, promoted to Wendy's, went to Pizza Hut, to Ryan's Steakhouse. I kept, I'm a ladder climber. That's what I do. I like to climb the ladder of whatever it is. I became a pastor at one point.
Wow.
So I had to climb the ladder in the church even. So I'm that person who I'm not good at just staying at the busy bee level. I want to learn everything, and then I want to train people, and then I want to lead them, and then I want to give them a career path, a good career path. So I want them to find their purpose. So I've always been that way. It's like I take on a job, I learn it, then I train it, then I manage it and lead it, and then I leave it, and then I give it to somebody else, and then I go on to the next thing. So I know it's
given that this is like this is Women's History Month, right? This is the month of the woman, right? What would you say to let's say a single mom out there who's trying to really make it and not getting a whole lot of support from the dad of her child or children? What words of encouragement?
A single mom that's working.
Yeah.
The single mom working. First of all, what I would say to them is cherish this time with your children at the time that you have them, at the time that they're there. They're not going to be this age for very long. So absolutely try to cherish those moments in that time. Make sure that you're filling up their cups. Make sure that you're filling up your own cup so that you can fill their cups. Because if you're depleted, you can't fill their cups. And then that's where things get unbalanced. So make sure that you are absolutely feeding yourself, just like you do in the airplane where you give yourself the air and then you give the air to them. Make sure that you're constantly, filling your own cup up with whatever that is. I use God is who fills my cups up. God is who helps me and strengthens me. And I would say, make sure that you're in touch with who you are, making sure that you're not overextending yourself in things that you don't need to be doing, and absolutely working on figuring out what your purpose is, because you will always be more content with whatever your purpose is instead of trying to just make money, or just going this route to make money. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you have to stay in a job you don't like, but you can make it. You can like it if you make yourself like it. Like you can take things out of it and get positive things out of it. You don't have to look at it as a burden. You need to look at it as a source. It's a temporary source. It's not always going to be this way. Don't push yourself like, oh, I should be. Don't should yourself. Absolutely embrace where you're at in the present. Absolutely keep filling up those cups in yourself so that you're content and you feel that peace. Because if you don't, your children feel it, and I'm just going to say it. I mean, I've been there. I wasn't single.
What an amazing piece of advice. And I don't know Bobby, but I'm sure Bobby Bobby Jones would agree with me if I said after that piece of advice you just dropped on us, he would say that this snippet would exemplify you. You ready?
Fill your cup with good stuff. Don't get me turned off of Facebook jail. But anyway, if you're a single mom, and I was a Navy mom, so I didn't have
to be a Navy mom.
So I didn't have, my ex was always out to sea. So I was a single mom. I was married, but I was single.
Gotcha.
So, but what I didn't do, and I'm giving this out of my own advice because there are things that I missed. I missed that time. I was too busy worrying about, what I was going to be. what I was going to do instead of, embracing what wasn't present in front of me, with my kids, just really enjoying that time and really, trying to, because kids are really simple. They're more simple than you think. Nowadays it's different. I hate to say it, but I mean, I see this so much right now that I just go, oh, it just kills me. It just kills me to see these kids just looking at the screen
Sandy,
instead of
I
talking to
see
each
it.
other and instead
I
of,
see it. I see it when I'm going from dealership to dealership. If I'm going away and I have to stay at a hotel, what have you. If I go out for dinner, I'll notice a family of 4 and everyone's on their phone.
yeah, I mean, it's easier to hand the kid the thing and to keep them busy, but you're missing. You're missing out that conversation that you could have. You're missing out, pouring into them the wisdom that they need at the time. You're letting this thing give them the wisdom instead of you, and it's replacing you, and that's scary to me. And I have a grandchild, and my son has, she's 2, or not 2, she's 1.
Yeah.
But the thing is she's already obsessed with the phone. She already wants to grab it.
I bet you she could work. I bet you she could work that device better than you and I.
Right. And so I just hope, I just pray that people don't let that get away. That it really, I hope if COVID taught us anything was that family time and that togetherness was way more important than the internet and Facebook and all those things. I just really hope, that you take that time out, to have that conversation, because my kids and I, we took trips together. I mean, I had a great time with my kids. We didn't have this distraction. I mean, this is just a distraction. And, it makes everything easier and more convenient, but it makes everything skewed. Like you're letting your kids see a worldview and a view of the world through this instead of through your eyes. And I just implore them that they take that time to, put the limits on it. And I know a lot of parents that do. They put limits on this. They don't let their kids, endlessly look at it, or they take it away, or, whatever. But even us as adults, I find myself doing it, Yeah, I go to church and I'm sitting there on the phone,
Oh yeah.
What am I doing?
And these phones have a way of measuring how much time you've been on them. And when you go look, you're like, whoa.
Oh yes. Yes.
And that hit me with Clubhouse. It was crazy. To your point though about parenting, yeah, they are. Bobby's 100% on the money. Kids are losing touch with their engaging skills, and
Yes,
and now if you couple that with the loss of socialization during the pandemic, with everything being virtual, these kids have tuned out. So it's almost like they've lost a year of their lives of education.
Right. They're going to be behind. They're going to be a little bit behind.
100%. But looking back on my life, I can tell you I've made my share of mistakes, and the impact every decision you make to either spend time with your children or not, it's going to come back to you later on, right? Nothing goes by without some type of a consequence. Actions have consequences.
They do.
So wasn't easy, it wasn't easy. And so when you talk about purpose, my purpose for me is to consistently be and show up as the best version of me. Right. But for me to do that requires energy in all areas, in my physical life, in my nutrition and sleep. And it's you've got to be intentional, because this body that we have, it's the only machine it's our only mode of transportation for the rest of our lives. And if we treat it like a jalopy, it's going to break down.
That's right.
You wouldn't
like a bar stool.
You wouldn't treat a finely tuned machine, like garbage. You put quality components in there, right? And so I know I've between the weight gain and everything else, I know it's never too late to make the changes.
It never is.
Right? To become the best
never
version.
Is.
But it's a decision. First, it's a decision. It's an idea. It's a thought. But if you said it early on, if you don't take action, then it's just a wish. It's a should.
Right.
And you end up
Right.
shooting all over yourself, which is not something we want to do.
No shoulding.
No
That's right.
shooting. No
No
shooting.
shoulding. So yes, finding that balance, that mind, body, spirit balance is crucial. You know, the three together are tied together, and people don't, and people focus on, you know, one, you know, we shift our focus on the three, you know, always, you know, but make sure you try to keep those in balance. If your physical body is off, then your mental body will be off. Then your spiritual connection will be off. All of it will be off. So if you're, you know, and same with the spiritual side, if you're not connecting, if you're not trying to, you know, better yourself with the affirmations, because that's the spiritual side, and you're not connecting, then your mind is going to be off and your physical body will be off. So you have to put the three together. It's crucial to have the three together and in balance. And I know when I'm physically tired and exhausted and all of those things, you know, I don't make any decisions. I call it HALT, HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
Ooh.
I don't make any decisions if I'm any of those. So HALT in making any major decisions.
Angry.
HALT. So
hungry,
angry, lonely, or tired. So if I have any of those going on, there's no decision making at all, you know. And also a counselor that I used to go to always said, never make a decision right as you wake up or right before you go to bed. And like, say, if you're in a marital dispute, definitely never have those serious talks in the morning, like early in the morning or in the evening. Always try to make it in the middle of the day, because you've had enough sufficient rest time. You've had a sufficient, you know, for me, coffee and maybe a little bit of, you know, breakfast or something.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the audience just now? They were applauding you.
For what? Coffee?
They were giving you applause for that. For HALT.
I like that, Gandhi. Let's see. Don't let others walk in your mind with their dirty feet.
dirty
I
feet.
love that. Yes.
Tom
I
Ginn's
like that,
Tom
Gandhi.
Ginn's like the sage here, right?
I like to text mean stuff when I'm angry and tired. Yeah, you do, like, right. I mean, you don't to me, Bobby. I don't know if you do to others, but when you're angry.
But Sandy, let me ask you: you always are smiling. You're always happy. You're always cheerful. When Sandy is upset and angry, how do you diffuse the? Because you can't be this level 10 all the time. I'm sure
not.
you have moments, right?
Right. I'm not.
How do you diffuse it? How do I
diffuse it?
Yeah.
Well, usually I will bounce it off of somebody else. Sometimes I like talk therapy. Talk therapy for me is like the key to my happiness. I like talking about it, venting about it, getting it off my chest. Because if I stuff it down and suppress it, oppress it, then it's a volcano later. So I take care of it right then. You know, if I'm angry at someone, I don't bring it up right at the moment. I might say, you know, I don't really want to talk about that right now. Let's talk about it later, after I process it. And if I am upset about something, sometimes I actually, you know, will, you know, just spill it out. And as I'm speaking, it just kind of unravels. And then by the end of it all, I'm like diffused and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm fine. You know, I smile then and I'm done, you know? So it just, you have to know yourself. I know myself to know when I'm upset and I probably don't want to talk about something, or, you know, I'll talk to my partner and, you know, be like, okay, I don't think I want to talk about that right now, you know? And, you know, cause I mean, those, everybody has emotions. So I know when to say, put the boundary on it. So putting boundaries on your emotions is imperative. So, you know, you have to, you know who you are. And that I talk about that all the time. That's the whole point of this is getting to the root source of who you are. And you have to know yourself enough if you want to have a partner or you want to communicate with somebody else. I believe in when you get into a relationship that there has to be two wholes. They're not two halves, they're two wholes. Because if they're not two wholes, then somebody is going to need. And I believe in that whole give and take. And, sometimes somebody goes 90% while the other person's 10%. I believe in all of that.
But you're
I
100%
believe that you have to
responsible.
come to a relationship as a whole person. Sure. You don't just jump into a relationship after you've gotten out of a relationship or, things like that, So, he's going to tell on me. She goes from a 10 to an 8, not much less. That's nice.
Great.
Yeah. So I go from a 10 to an 8. Anyway, I go low. I can go low like everybody because we're human. This is, and I have to look at it and go, okay, why was that a trigger? I use the word trigger a lot. What was your trigger? Why was that a trigger to you? If you're going down the hole, what's the cause of it? And again, it comes back to the halt thing. Are you lonely? Are you tired? Are you angry? Are you hungry? Sometimes I think that we don't know, when we're tired and hungry together. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. If you're trying to speak emotionally, I mean, just don't do it.
It's funny. I think I'm crazy, but I have a mirror by, on my desk. So if I'm gonna make a phone call, I try to make sure I'm smiling because I know a smile can be heard over the phone.
Yes.
Right. And so it's also saying affirmations. I live alone, and so I don't get that outside, validation. So I have to be that validation for myself, and so it's important. It's important that your self-talk,
absolutely,
is level 10. And
in my bathroom, I have just little things that say, "You got this," and
I bet you've got sayings all over your entire.
You got this. Well, yes, like
everywhere.
Follow your dreams. Follow your heart. Yes, I have them all over. But you got this, and I have Philippians. Through Christ, I can do all things. I can do all things through Christ. So I have those displayed to where I can see them because I need a reminder. Those
are visual cues, though, and those help you to put you. You know what? Let me get back into that state. Everything in life is about being in the right state, and I love that. You dropped. That was gold. Never make a decision when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. I love that.
You got to halt.
Wow.
I always go halt.
That's just like, that's gold.
I didn't come up with it. Somebody else did. But
doesn't matter.
I've used it ever since I heard it.
You channeled it through. No, that's wonderful. I love that. That's fantastic.
Halt. Yeah. And again, I learned a lot through coaching and counseling and all those things. And that's why I've gotten into the life coaching myself, is I want to help people. I want to give them the tools that somebody gave me. I want to share my tool belt with them. I want them to be able to measure out everything and hammer out anything that they need to with the tools that they're given. So that is the key. That's, that's the point. So, okay, what did Jesus mean? You can do greater than I?
You can do greater things than I. I don't know.
I was going with, you can do all three things through Christ who strengthens me. Mm-hmm. So, to explain that, Tom, what you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? I should send him a link.
That's my other show.
There you go.
My Awakening show. We talk about all that.
Wow.
My co-host Bob on my Awakening show, he's a theologian. And so him and I hash out a lot of the theological questions, and you can do a greater thing than I. That's because he left the Holy Spirit with us. I get it now. I'm getting it. Okay.
Got it.
Yes. Got because the Holy Spirit then can work within you. And so that's how I take that. if that's what you mean, Tom. But there's a 20-second delay. Yes, he opened. Exactly. That's what I thought you meant. He opened the gate to. Yes. Yes.
Independent supply.
So that's what I try to operate out of. I always try to operate out of love. If you come from the point of love in everything that you do and try to see it through that scope of love, whatever that looks like.
By the way, Cindy, that applies to sales. If you, in other words, if you love your clients, you love your customers, right? You won't put them into too much car or too little car. You'll find out what their needs are. And the way you do that is by becoming interested. The only way you could show you're interested is by asking questions.
Right.
And when you ask the right questions, you'll get the answers necessary to help you help them. Right.
So,
but it's a two-way street. It's communication. It's not, because people can feel, taste, and see. Like if your body language is, I haven't sold a car in 2 weeks. Welcome to the dealership. My name is Mark. And you're just rambling.
Yes.
People can
infinite.
They can sense your desperation.
Yes.
Right? Your lack of preparation. They could sense it, and that's why it all begins with making the first sale that you make is to yourself. I am worthy. I'm worthy.
Yes.
I may not have the answers, but I'm committed to finding out those answers for you to help you and your family make the best decision. Help you make the best decision for your family. Right? People, I know there's a lot of talk about cars going autonomous, and there's a lot of you see the Carvana ads, and people hate the car business so much. They hate just the whole experience so much that if there was a way to push a button and never have to deal with a salesperson at all, they would. But buying a car, it still requires that tactile feel. You got to drive, you smell it. And there's nothing like the smell of a new car.
A new car, right? Exactly.
New car smell. And
so let me ask you, what kind of car do you drive? I
got a Nissan Murano. I got a great deal on the car. I couldn't pass it up. But I love new cars. I
love my car.
What do you have?
A Ford Escape.
Okay, what year?
Huh?
What year?
It's a 2018. It's a titanium. So Ford Escape. It's an eco car, and it's a smart car, and the whole deal. I love it. It's comfortable, and it's the right size, and all that, like you were talking about. I did buy it off the internet. I hate to say, I saw it in an internet ad. I saw it. I saw how many miles it had. And it was used. I was like, it was only used by the car dealer manager, by the way.
Did you go into the store to buy it?
I did.
Okay. So I can guarantee you that had you met up with someone who was really pushy and really arrogant, or if the moment you walked in and said, is your husband parking the car? Assume that you can make a decision on your own. You come out of that store so fast. So fast.
Yes. Okay. So I saw a Jaguar.
It's on my board. The Jaguar. Which one? It's
on his vision board, huh?
He's probably talking about the
his dream board, huh?
Dream board. I'm telling you, these electric cars, they are. You're gonna see more
I saw in Phoenix. They're testing those driverless like
autonomous.
Ubers.
Yeah.
Huh?
They're called autonomous cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
How I feel about that either.
I don't know. But I tell you, my car can almost drive itself. If I put on the all the different navigation settings, it can drive itself practically. I don't have to have my foot on the brake. I've got the cruise control that'll speed up and slow down as the traffic in front of me. And I also it also does if it goes out of the line, it brings it back. Sandy, so mine practically drives itself.
Before long, you'll have a car that before you hit the button, it's going to go, Sandy, you're not in the right mindset.
No, I'm afraid it's going to be one of those AI cars where you have to blow into the
Yeah,
blower and it has
yeah,
to see,
absolutely,
what your mood is then.
exactly. You
Are
imagine?
you the person they're going to make you like do like a saliva test to start
Yes.
the car or something crazy,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm giving him an idea. No, don't do the saliva test. No. It's probably going to happen though. Give me a Tesla any day. Best
That's
car ever. Yeah, I know a guy that has 2 of them. His 2. It freaked me out the first time. Like,
and Tom just said what I said. The new car will be reading your mind, right?
yes.
Reading your mind. That's interesting.
Yes.
That'll be interesting.
Yes. They're saying that Elon Musk went on there and said that they're already testing out the chimpanzees that are as they think and playing the video games. It's moving the thing. Oh
Really?
yeah, they're already doing that.
Gosh.
Oh yeah, I know. That this whole AI stuff is getting it's so sci-fi. Like we never thought it, and here we are going to go to Mars, and we got a self-driving cars, and
I do have to ask you a question, Sandy. I know it's been a year since everything kind of just locked up. It was a year ago, like a week ago, I think everything locked up.
Yes.
Did you think, because back a year ago, it was fear. I mean, it was, whoa, what's this going to mean?
Yeah, I wasn't in fear.
It was weird. Well, my mother had just broken her hip. And I had to shut down everything and take care of both of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very, very weird state of affairs I was in, but
right,
the whole country was just in it was a different mindset. Did you think it would last this long? Did you think, we would be, a year later, still trying to figure this out?
It's really cool. Like we were talking about having that balance of mind, body, spirit. At the time, God was already working on me in the spiritual sense. I never thought I would be a live streamer doing this show right now, like never in a million years. Right. He is the one that put that out there for me to do last year for the first time. And he kind of put me in service right away. So since he put me in service, I wasn't focused on my own stuff. I was focused already outwardly. I was already focused on how can I help others? How can I help bring them peace, calm, and through this. So, luckily for me, a month prior, I was supposed to have been in Israel this week last year, wow. And on the right outside of the Holy Land, and that trip got canceled, obviously because of COVID. And I had already put on the books that I was going to do a live stream from the banks, outside of the Holy Land. And I was going to cancel it. And God was like, nope, you're going to keep it there. And then when this time came, I had met 2 other life coaches who wanted to help the people like I did. So all the, people that want to help people, it's almost like he just threw everybody into service at that time. So I was not fearful. I didn't I was kind of trying to figure out what was going on, but I still had that inner peace. So because when you have that inner peace, you don't worry about those things. I can't worry about tomorrow. I just have to worry about today. I have to be in the present. I have to stay in the present. And because he put me into service, I needed to worry about others at the time. Now, it was a very hard time, don't get me wrong, because I had a roommate and it was my sister, and sure. and she was feeling very fearful and anxious about everything, and I wasn't. And then I probably wasn't as diligent about all the sanitizer, the whatever, and I kept going, I just need to live my life. And that didn't fit well with everybody else's theory at the time. So needless to say, it was a challenging year for me as far as how relationships went and things, just as sanitizer and masks and those kind of things, how that could make you an insider or outsider, or conforming or not conforming, or fearful or anxious. I mean,
I do have a personal confession to make to you, and that is, here's my confession live. right? Live. It'll be heard on replay. Here's my fear and my confession, personal confession to you. When you asked me to do this live with you, I was worried that we probably wouldn't be able to go longer than 15 minutes. And here we are, an hour and almost 15.
Have you ever heard me talk?
It's been, yeah, that's wild.
So why would that be? Huh? I'm just curious now.
But you're a great interviewer, and I really, really appreciate the value that you bring, and you're just effortless in the way, you know, you make your guests feel comfortable. So that's really that's so you. And you've got some gold here, some amazing stuff.
Well, thank you. And it's only because of the guests that I bring on. So I appreciate you being on my show. And Tom, I agree with you. The seed of fear.
It's been fertilized. And we're fed by the minute.
Turn off the sources that are feeding your fear. Exactly. I turned off the news really early on because I saw how dividing it was at the time. And I saw the media just fed into all of this stuff. And I was like, we don't, you know, it was the first time that I didn't understand science, which I was in medical for the last 30 years. So I always understood science. So I thought, and so this is the first time I went, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to stay in the present, and I'm just going to do these things diligently, and I'm just going to stay in my lane. And I'm going to serve the way that God shows me to serve. And, you know, and that's kind of what we had to do, you know, you know, everybody that's listened to the narratives, all the narratives, not just one. And I don't even go there. I'm totally a moderate, and I stay in the middle, and I say, you know, good versus evil. And that's that, you know, and I don't deviate from those things. And I say, because sometimes I don't know which one is which, right? So I don't know which one is present of good and evil, right?
You do realize that those members of the Grow Live Academy who are watching this are like, wait a second. Sandy makes almost every single one of our Thursday night coaching calls. Who is this person? She's so talkative. She never talks on the Thursday night calls.
I don't know why, and I'll figure that out at some point. And I think it's because I'm not sure. I'll figure it out at some point. I will talk at some point, but I do talk a lot, actually. This is the type of fertilizer. Yep. Well, thank you, Tom. You're awesome too. I love his gratitude. Awesome. I watch his show all the time on gratitude. So I suggest you check out Tom's gratitude. G-Force. Yes. Oh, yeah. And he's got all these other shows now going on too. And I'm going to have to catch some of them on and off between my own. When's your show, Mark? When's your show?
You know what? I'm still figuring out the time, you know, of when I want to do an actual, you know, consistent show.
Since you just got me on the Grow Live Academy, I figured I had to zing you at least once.
Well, it wasn't a zing. I accept it. You're 100% right. 100% right.
You accept the challenge?
I do.
Take the sword.
In fact, before I respond, I'm going to halt.
I want to see you with that in front of the camera, live stream master.
Yes, absolutely. You rock.
Yes, I mean, look at that background. Look at that. You got the voice and everything.
I'm with Sandy Archer.
That's right. Well, thanks. Listen to it. She doesn't talk on all those as she has an hour show. Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Right. I'm glad you reminded me. Thanks, Jason.
There you go. JC.
That's why he wins. I have to do the comment of the day. Hold on. You didn't know I have this because I usually say this before the end of my show.
Here's the deal.
Oh, here's the deal.
Here's the deal. So here's the deal.
Let's do it.
Is that with this positivity training, we need to take this forward. You need to find your purpose and you need to halt, right? So those things, here's the deal. What I have to say, but what's your deal? Here's the deal. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
So my here's the deal is just to be presently present, just to be present, stay in a positive mindset, and realize that things are not as bad as you may think they are. I know I've been guilty of making things worse than what they are, and that's prevented me from moving forward. But just take 1%, make 1% improvements every single day, and you'll get there. Just one
Yes.
step at a time.
And
Oh, Amy.
Amy, thank you for sharing this. I really appreciate that. Amy's on an awesome. I think she's on the mind, body, spirit
Awesome.
challenge right now and getting herself out of everything. So that's awesome. Amy, I'm so proud of
Amy,
you.
that was great. Thank you so much.
So
for
proud of
sharing.
you. So yes. So going forward, you know, it's a
Halt.
Monday.
Halt. Absolutely.
Halt.
Before I
If
make a
any of
decision,
those things, but it's a Monday. But you said you only do 1%.
1%.
But in the book I'm reading, you need to do 10 times that.
10%. There you go. 10 times everything. Level 10.
10 times rule.
If you wouldn't be a level 5 parent, why would you be a level 5 anything, right? Level 10.
Right. If you're not if you're gonna do it, just do it big. Go big or go home.
So what you're saying is you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
That's correct.
Get it started.
That's what we're talking about.
That's really good. Yep. Halt. Exactly. Halt.
Love it.
So there. Thank you guys for joining us. We're over our time by like 15 minutes, and I'm supposed to be at the gym. How about that?
Oh, you better go.
Uh-oh.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you guys got some value out of his definite. Thank you so much. I'm going to have my son call you, by the way. So
Absolutely.
he might need some tips or something. And I appreciate the tips that you gave us tonight. So thank you. So you all rock, and you guys take care. And so there we go. Peace out.
Peace out.